Viewer discretion is advised. Tonight's show will contain 7 uses of the F word, 5 uses of the S word, and 3 blowjobs. So, viewer discretion is advised. 2 turtle doves and a guy in a pear tree. So
I recognize one of the names.
Lord Peter Luther Christian.
Bernadette. Is she still there?
Yeah, Bernadette is there.
Hello, Bernadette.
Okay, so Casey has some questions about God.
They can't hear you, Luke.
Don't worry about it.
They can't hear you. Well, no, it's important.
Don't worry about it.
Why?
Because there's nothing that immediately can be done. I can just reload,
Oh.
and the sound quality will wax and wane. And the important thing is the YouTube, because 100 times as many people will watch us on YouTube as will watch us on the live.
That's true.
The live stream. So
that's true.
And they can hear you, so because you're more direct.
There's only one thing.
Yeah.
The whole point of doing Casey first is so that they can leave. They're not gonna get anything. But okay.
It's okay. We'll roll with it.
All right. All right.
Okay. So it's 3-2 Giants over Atlanta, but Atlanta's rallying here in the 8th inning. And it's now 7:05 p.m. Traffic hot and heavy on Pico Boulevard, heading into Robertson Boulevard. So first of all, Rabs and I would like to talk to Goyim about God, particularly the Goy Casey, who's a PhD in English literature and a professor. So
hello, Casey.
I'm going to read the questions and I'm going to give my answer to each question, and then Rabs can give his answer. So question number 1, what is the purpose of Judaism? And if your answer is follow the Torah, then I want to know the purpose of that. That's my real question. Okay, the purpose of Judaism and the purpose of Torah is to bring God's presence into the world and to embody His moral demands to humanity. So the Jews are an ad hoc committee to get something done. What they is to get done is to bring the world to God and to His moral demands. So there's no need in Judaism to make the world Jewish, but what there is in Judaism a need for is to bring the world to God, and the God of holiness, the God of moral demands. So ethical monotheism, one God, one moral law for all humanity. That's the purpose of Judaism, according to me.
According to Judaism, the purpose of Judaism is what Levi just touched on, is that it's to follow the Torah. The reason why we have to follow the Torah is because God said so. So the answer to what's the purpose of Judaism, it's because God created us to follow His Torah. He wrote the Torah, He created the universe, He created us, and our purpose is to, in His universe, follow His Torah.
Okay, question number 2. Lust is a really interesting problem to me, and not just lust for girls, but lust for idols too. Why does it seem like life would be so much better if I could just lust after and consummate with whatever girl or idol I want? Would this life be better without God? Well, the problem with following your lusts is that then they are ruling your life, not God. So that's the problem with idols. Idols are always limited. God is the one thing which there is no limit to. So whenever you devote yourself to following your lusts or to worshipping an idol, you're limiting yourself. And so a great atheist Jewish philosopher made this point in the book, You Shall Be As Gods. So Eric Fromm, an atheist, but he made the point that Judaism is all about knocking down false gods, because whenever you have allegiances to false gods, you're devoting your allegiance to something that is limited, and the only thing in the universe, the only thing in life that is without limit is God. So you will be the poorer if you don't devote yourself to God. Instead, you will be limited by whatever else you devote yourself to.
The only thing I would add to that is that it says, the second part of the question is, would this life be better without God? That question is absurd, because there is no life without God. The entire universe and everything, the fact that we're alive is because there's a God in the world. This world can't exist without God, because the entire world is merely a figment of God's imagination. You erase God from the picture, the world disintegrates at the same time. So the question doesn't compute.
That's fine.
You could ask the question, would your life go better without believing in God, even though God really does exist? And I would answer that by saying, Well, let's think about that. God exists. He's the painter. He draws a painting. You're one of the characters on his painting, and you're questioning, the painter wants me to hold a pose like this, but I don't think I'm going to do it. It's absurd. We're told to do things because the creator, who's the painter of this painting, wants us to do a certain thing. You have the option to say, well, I don't believe you exist, and I'm not going to do it. It's absurd for a character in a comic strip to rebel against the author.
And I would add this. Let's just talk about from a happiness perspective. I think it's entirely possible that you might be happier if you just followed your loss to some degree, as long as you maintain some discipline, so you didn't destroy your life, get fired, and lose your reputation. So I think it's entirely possible that abandoning any belief in God and just doing what you want to do will make you happier. In my experience, religion doesn't seem to make probably 50% of its adherents any happier. So that's possible.
It's possible.
Agree on that.
I would agree on that.
One Jesus question: was Jesus a better kind of Jew or a worse kind of Jew? Well, let's just take the. Oh, wow. So which Jesus is it? Is it the Jesus of the Gospels, or the Jesus uncovered in the Gospels by Bible scholars who go against the propagandistic tendencies of the Gospels to try to uncover the historical Jesus? I would say that the historical Jesus was a decent kind of Orthodox Jew. I wouldn't make any pronouncement on whether Jesus overall was a better kind of Jew or a worse kind of Jew, unless you want to take the Jesus of Christianity, the Jesus of the Gospels, taking the Gospels as divine truths, so to speak. Then definitely that Jesus is a worse kind of Jew if one believes that he was claiming to be God. So that there's just no way around saying that that's acceptable from a Jewish perspective.
I don't really know enough about Jesus to have to weigh in, but I would say this: if he caused, I would say this about anybody, doesn't matter who they are. If a Jew causes another Jew to believe in some sort of idolatry, then that Jew is what we call a heretic. Okay, a heretic is the worst kind of Jew.
Yeah.
So if Jesus or if somebody else did that, then they're a heretic and they're a worse kind of Jew. The problem is, I don't know enough about Jesus and what he actually said. Most of the stuff that I hear are what people said about him. You know? And they are the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His followers who said all kinds of stuff, but they may not even be Jewish. So I mean, it's like, I don't know. You know, what did Jesus actually say? I'd have to read the Christian Bible, and I'm frankly not interested to do it. I'm really not.
Why aren't there any more Jewish prophets? Why isn't there any more revelation?
That's a good question.
After Malachi, I think that God has said everything that he needs to say through the prophets. So that's why I believe that there have been no more prophets.
Oh, this is actually answered in the Talmud. Can I answer it?
Yeah.
Wait, what's the exact wording of it?
Why aren't there any more Jewish prophets?
You were the part that ended in...
Yeah,
okay.
no more revelation.
There was what was called the Anshe Knesset Haggadolah. That there was the Men of the Great Assembly, and that was led by Ezra right when the Jews came back after 70 years in exile in Babylon.
Yeah.
Some Jews came back, and they were the leaders of the generation. It was Daniel and Malachi and Ezra and Nehemiah. These people. And they wanted to, because now Jews are preparing for an ongoing exile in other people's countries. And so they did a few things. They, compiled the Mishnah, and they closed the Tanakh, and they said, we're done with prophecies. That was it. Prophecy was removed from the world. It's brought down that the question is, why was it? Why did they close? Why did they take that away?
Why are there no more prophets?
Because the Jews were no longer at the level that is required.